Yeah, thank you. So we're going to talk about productivity in an ecosystem. Very, very important topic from the exam point of view. There will be no question paper, whether it's a state board exam, 12th standard, or else Gujket, Guj CET exam, or else even NEET exam. For all of them, the topic which is the most favorite of, favorite topic for the examiner is productivity. There'll be no question paper without this topic. So mind you, you have to prepare it properly. Let me explain the productivity. See, the input of solar energy, it is must for each and every ecosystem. You see, each and every ecosystem, if it wants to sustain itself, if it wants to perform the functions, of course, it will require energy. For most ecosystems, this energy input comes from solar radiations. So it is must to receive solar energy for each and every ecosystem. There are exceptions, hydrothermal vents, etc. are the ones which do not start with photoautotrophs, so they do not require it. But such exceptional ecosystems are very few. Majority ecosystems on the earth require input of solar energy in order to sustain themselves, in order to carry out their functions. Point number 2. In all these cases, in all these ecosystems where solar energy is required, the organisms which will capture the solar energy are photoautotrophs. This includes phytoplankton, also lower plants such as algae, and then higher plants such as bryophyta, pteridophyta, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. Obviously, in angiosperms, you can see the grasses and herbs and shrubs and trees, all varieties are available. They are must in the ecosystem. Without them, the ecosystem is not going to work because energy capturing role is given to the autotrophs. Now, when they capture the energy, they carry out it in a process called photosynthesis. So entire productivity of an ecosystem, it is related with the process of photosynthesis. That's the one in which the glucose, the first organic compound, is prepared from the inorganic compound CO2 and H2O using light energy. So this process plays the pivotal role, key role in this entire productivity understanding. Excuse me. So our first half of the understanding of this productivity will be focused around photosynthesis. It is understood that productivity in an ecosystem is considered at two levels. One is called primary productivity, the productivity at producer levels. Another one is a secondary productivity, the productivity at consumer levels. Are you getting the sense of what I'm explaining? I said that each and every ecosystem requires energy to sustain itself, barring the few exceptions such as deep basins of the ocean where hydrothermal vents are available. Excluding that, all ecosystems require input of solar energy. Number two, the organisms which are concerned with capturing this solar energy in an ecosystem are producers. Through the process of photosynthesis, these producers capture the solar energy. They are phytoplankton, they are lichens, they are algae, they are bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms, in which grasses, herbs, shrubs, trees, all are included in the same. Point number two. Excuse me. Whenever you measure the productivity at producer level, then it is considered as primary productivity of the ecosystem. And whenever you measure the productivity at consumer level, it is called as secondary productivity. Let us talk about first primary productivity. When solar radiations are received by the producers, they carry out photosynthesis. The amount of biomass they produce by that process. Amount of biomass. It is termed as biomass. Basically, the product of the photosynthesis is glucose. This glucose is obviously converted into starch. Also, some amount of glucose is converted into some other activities in making other biomolecules, but all these molecules are going to be the organic molecules. So the total amount of such biomass, organic matter, produced in an ecosystem per unit area. Now, you don't need to measure the how much biomass is been prepared by the all producers of an ecosystem. You can do it in a unit area of an ecosystem. जैसे आप अगर pond में excuse me, if you want to measure the productivity in pond, you don't need to find out all the phytoplankton of the pond. You just need to measure the productivity by the phytoplankton in a pond in a unit area of the pond. From the unit area, the water is collected, and in that, whatever phytoplanktons are there, their organic biomass is being measured. So you don't need to measure it for the entire ecosystem. You have to measure it for a unit area of the ecosystem. Achha, you have to measure this amount of biomass produced by the producers per unit area of the ecosystem over a period of time. The time consideration has to be there. That in which time period, in how much time duration this was done. If you are comparing the biomass production of one ecosystem within 1 month and another ecosystem within 1 year, definitely 1 year values will be higher. So a third angle is to be added in the matter is number one angle was how much amount is produced of this biomass by the producers through the photosynthesis. Second, in a unit area. And third, in a given time period. Now, these three things, when you combine, then the unit that you will work out for this rate of biomass production, that is called productivity, it would be like this. अगर weight में measure करना है biomass को, तो आएगा grams per meters square per year. Grams of biomass produced in a meter square area over a 1 year period by the producers in that area of the ecosystem. How many have understood this? Grams of biomass produced by all the producers in a meter square area of the given ecosystem over a 1 year period. Acha. Somebody is not interested in measuring the biomass weight. So there is another angle that can be explored. It is the amount of energy captured and stored, and in terms of joule is the unit of energy, or else maybe it can be measured in the kilocalories. So either in terms of uh, weight of biomass, or else in terms of energy captured in that part of the ecosystem by the producers in a unit area and in a unit period of time. So for that, the another unit will be kilocalories energy in a meter square area over a 1 year period. So kilocalories meter square per year. Whichever way you are convenient, whichever way you are comfortable with, whatever is convenient to you. Is it that energy measurement is easy for you, convenient for you, required by you? Or is it the weight of the biomass as a parameter that you have considered? Depending upon that, the unit can be considered over there. So these are the two units, grams per meter square per year or kilocalories stored per meter square per year. That is the way you understand it. Is the gross primary production clear on your part? Basically, the primary production I have explained to you, which is in a way also known as a gross primary production. They say that GPP, the gross primary production, refers to the rate of production of organic matter during the photosynthesis, obviously in a unit area over a given period of time, that is GPP also. So usko primary productivity bolte hai. Precisely, further it is also identified as GPP, gross primary productivity. चलिए फिर से मैं एक्सप्लेन करता हूं प्राइमरी प्रोडक्शन टर्म को. What is a primary productivity? Basically, it is the amount of biomass oblique organic matter synthesized by producers through the photosynthesis in a given ecosystem, in a unit area of the ecosystem over given period of time, that is known as primary production. Which two parameters of the primary production are measurable, by the way? One is weight and another one is what? Energy. One is weight and one is energy. When you consider the weight, what shall be the unit? क्या रहेगा यूनिट? ग्राम्स पर मीटर स्क्वायर per year, or yes or no? And in case if your unit or if your parameter was energy, then what shall be the units then after? Yeah, kilocalories per meter square per year. Means kilocalories of energy stored, or energy stored in the form of kilocalories, number of kilocalories per meter square area in a 1 year period by the all producers in that area of an ecosystem. This is your primary productivity, which is in a way the GPP, that is the rate of production of organic matter during photosynthesis. वही चीज हुआ, सेम चीज हुआ, तो उसको GPP अभी कंसिडर करके आगे जाते हैं. ओके, ग्रॉस प्राइमरी प्रोडक्शन, प्राइमरी प्रोडक्शन ही है, उसका ग्रॉस वैल्यू को GPP कहते हैं. Whatever energy stored by the plants, from that some amount of energy has to go to the producers, from the producers to consumers, isn't it? Consumers receive the energy. Is it the case that all energy that is been captured, entire biomass that is been captured by the or prepared by the plants, the producers, will it be entirely passed on to consumers, or some amount of biomass and energy is gonna be used by the plants for their own survival? I hope you are getting the sense what I'm explaining. Whatever is the production of the biomass, is it that this entire biomass is transferred to consumers, or some amount of biomass is used by the plants for their own activity? What do you say? Exactly, some amount is used by the producers for their own survival. Let me explain. Producers carry out respiration. Producers carry out what? Respiration. That much energy is lost, whatever is the energy lost in respiration, that will be coming from GPP. It's a part of GPP. So that much energy will be lost by the plants for their own respiratory utilities. Rest of the energy now they make available for the consumers to be consumed. That available energy is called as NPP. Have you understood what is NPP? It's a net primary productivity. Dekho, primary productivity is what? Either amount of energy stored, or else amount of biomass, organic biomass present in the producers, available in a unit area of an ecosystem over a period of time. In that, the total production, when you consider, it is called GPP. And from that total production, the GPP, if you deduce respiratory loss by the plants, then leftover is called NPP. What is lost in respiration in terms of energy or biomass by the plants, represented as R. If you deduce it from the total production GPP, left is known as NPP, the net primary production, that is available for the consumers to be consumed over there. GPP if this is GPP, some glucose is used for the supply of energy to drive the cellular respiration in plants, that is termed as R. This is termed as GPP, and this is termed as remaining biomass or glucose or organic matter or energy available to be laid down as new material biomass available for the consumers, that is called as NPP. अब इसको आप ऐसे भी लिख सकते हो. Am I right if I write down NPP plus R is equal to GPP? Am I right or wrong? And I can also write down in this way, GPP minus respiratory loss is NPP. Am I right or wrong in both these cases? Meaning is the same, mathematical logical explanation hai. So that is about the productivity aspect, particularly at the producer level. So it is called as primary productivity. Total amount of biomass produced at producer level in an ecosystem unit area over a period of time is called primary productivity. Its total amount produced is GPP, and from that total amount, the deduction of respiratory loss by the plants of that biomass or energy left over is called as NPP, that is been available for the consumers to consume. A time for question if you have any. If you have no question, then we can go to the next one. All consumers, all heterotrophs depend upon NPP. They depend upon NPP. That is something what is available to them. चलिए, किसी को question है तो 10 seconds given. Raise your hand. Fine, you have no question. We go to the next one. That is secondary productivity. Now, mind you, one word that you have to remember, secondary productivity is measurable at the consumer end, whether they are herbivore or carnivore, जो भी है. So the rate of biomass formation, rate of organic matter formation by the consumers is known as secondary productivity. Simple. Is it understood? What is the secondary productivity? See, they will also feed upon what is available from the plants. And from that, somewhat they will utilize in their own respiration. Rest they will store in their body as a biomass. That would be the productivity at a consumer level. So productivity at a consumer level is called as secondary productivity. Whichever level of consumer, whatever it receives from that, whatever biomass it is preparing and storing in itself, it is called as secondary productivity. आप secondary productivity किसी भी trophic level की consider कर सकते हैं. Secondary productivity of herbivores हो सकता है, secondary productivity of carnivores हो सकता है. जो भी कंसिडर करो उस लेवल के ऑर्गेनिजम्स यूनिट एरिया ऑफ ए इकोसिस्टम में ओवर द 1 year period, how much biomass they have produced, that is called as secondary productivity. How many have understood? For example, if I have to measure the secondary productivity at herbivore level, so I have to see amount of biomass stored in the herbivores in a unit area of an ecosystem over a period of time. This is called as secondary productivity at herbivore. Similarly, I can do it for carnivore. जिस किसी कैटेगरी का कंज्यूमर कैटेगरी का कंसिडरेशन करना है कर लो, उसमें बायोमास या एनर्जी स्टोर कितना होता है in a unit area of the ecosystem and in a given period of time, जैसे grams per meter square per year, same unit. यहाँ पे आप प्लांट्स में मेजर करते हो वो चीजें, यहाँ पे आप किस में मेजर करोगे? कंज्यूमर्स में. अगर उसमें आपका स्पेसिफिकेशन है हर्बीवोर तो हर्बीवोर, कार्निवोर तो कार्निवोर, अकॉर्डिंगली इट विल बी डेल्ट विथ. That's a very simple way of understanding all this stuff. I hope you understand it correctly and replied properly. The factors which are affecting the productivity of an ecosystem. See, it's a common sense. different ecosystems have a different levels of productivity. I give you an example for this one, pictorial representation for this one. Look at this one. Estuaries, swamps, and marshes and tropical rainforest are the communities, or rather you can say the ecosystems, which are most productive on the earth. The amount of biomass produced by them, in terms of that, they are the most productive one. Look at the next level. Temperate forest and taiga and savanna and others, they come under moderate productivity levels. Okay, then comes you can say grasslands and lakes and streams, very rather you can say the low productivity. And least productive ecosystems include open oceans and tundra and even deserts, extreme deserts. These are the ones which will have lowest productivity. So अगर आप किसी यहाँ से एक पिक करते हो इकोसिस्टम, एक इसको पिक किया, एक इसको पिक किया, एक इसको पिक किया, एक इधर पिक किया, चारों का यूनिट एरिया अगर आप वर्कआउट कर लेते हो and you work out the GPP of the all four, you will always find this will be at the highest rate. So my point is that question number one that I want to raise is that you think different ecosystems have a same productivity, or each ecosystem has its own unique rate of productivity? What is your answer? Isn't it different ecosystems have their own different rates of productivity? What are the factors that are affecting this productivity of ecosystem? So first of all, the plant species composition in that habitat, the environmental factors of the habitat, availability of nutrients, photosynthetic capacity of plants. मैं आपको वन बाय वन हर एक का एक आपको एक एग्जाम्पल देता हूं, आप उसको अंडरस्टैंड करो. Is a photosynthetic capacity of plants. Let's say that two ecosystems in the same area. So climatic environmental factors to avoided. One is A and another one is B. यहाँ पे majority plants are C4 and here majority plants are C3. Tell me, which one will have a greater productivity? A part or B part of the ecosystem? Am I audible? Hello? Naturally, it is the C4 plant carrying area. Reason you have understood, na 11th standard pass outs you are. Chapter number 13, this photosynthesis. C3, C4 plants. C4 has a higher productivity with the same climatic conditions compared with the C3. You really don't remember this one? Optimal CO2 levels पे C3 के कंपेयर में C4, atmospheric CO2 level पे C3 के कंपेयर में C4 plants have a higher productivity. That is shameful feature that you don't remember these basics. So one fact that if environmental factors are also common, however, if efficiency of plants, the photosynthetic efficiency of plants is different. You find a different rates of productivity. Availability of nutrients. See, ocean is such a big, habitat, but in a unit area comparisons, it shows the least productivity compared with many others. Reason? Lot of nutrients, but all are settled down at the bottom. Pond and lake and oceans. You know what problem they face? Their nutrients do settle down in the bottom, so nutrients are not available easily. Whereas in a grassland and forest, nutrients are available on the ground itself. So nutrient availability is a major factor. Okay, आपने carefully अगर observe किया है तो ocean moderate से लेके low productivity range में आता है. Reason being what? All the nutrients are settled down at the bottom and difficult to bring them up because producers are at top, the nutrients are at bottom. There is a distance between them. ग्राउंड पे तो क्या होता है, ग्रास जहां पे है सॉइल में उसी जगह पे न्यूट्रिएंट्स होते हैं. So one is nutrient availability. Third is environmental factors. Naturally, जैसे environmental factors में solar radiations सबसे important one. You know that equator पे जो भी ecosystem है वहां पे ज्यादा insolation होता है solar radiations का. So most of the ecosystems at the equator are particularly tropical rainforest, maximum productivity. Polar region पे productivity least, solar radiations least होते हैं. Apart from that, moisture availability and many other environmental factors affect the lot of influence over the productivity. Somebody might say कि सर solar radiations तो desert में भी बहुत ज्यादा होते तो वहां पे productivity क्यों नहीं? That's what I said. Not only solar radiation as a one, it's a combi of environmental factors, which includes even moisture. The tropics and deserts do receive intense sunlight, but tropics are with a lot of moisture. Deserts are without that. So again, environmental factors also play a significant role in this matter. And then comes the plant species. Some plant species have a higher growth. Some plant species have a limited growth, the genetic factors of the plant species. Some plant species have a higher rate of photosynthesis capacity. उनमें chloroplast ज़्यादा होता है, others may have a less. Some produce more number of leaves, some produce less number of leaves. So all this species composition वो भी affect करता है. That also affects the rate of productivity in an ecosystem. Last line, the annual net primary productivity of a biosphere is approximately 170 billion tons of dry weight of the organic matter. On the earth, all producers totally prepare 170 billion tons of organic matter, and that is not the total production, that is after the deduction of respiratory loss by these producers. Leftover one is being discussed. How many of you get it? It's the NPP value, net primary productivity. GPP must be higher or equal or lower to this 170 billion tons. Total GPP of the all producers on the earth has an biosphere consideration. Should it be higher than 170 billion tons, or should it be lower than that, or should it be equal to that? Total products of photosynthesis. Of course, it's going to be higher, isn't it? Yes, you're right. ये तो हम NPP देख रहे हैं. इसके साथ respiratory loss को जोड़ दो तो बन जाएगा GPP, which will be obviously higher than this one. Out of that, 70% is on the land. nearly 150 billion tons. 30% is in ocean, nearly 55 billion tons. आपको पता है ना, oceans cover a greater part of the earth's surface. How much? Approximately 3/4, 71% and 29% land. Am I right or wrong? वो जो 71% एरिया कवरेज है, that is carrying out 30% of NPP. और वो जो remaining 29% of the area coverage है land, it is covering how much? 70% of the total NPP. Reason, I have already informed you about that. Receiving light may be not an issue in both of them. The issue may be because in oceans, nutrients which are required for the growth of the producers, they settle down at the bottom. No producer lives at the bottom, particularly photoautotrophs. They are not found at the bottom. So there is a mismatch. Land ecosystem में क्या होता है? Root system is directly in contact with the soil where nutrients are available. Here, first of all, तो only plankton are responsible for productivity, and they are not in contact with the nutrients at the bottom. So very limited dissolved nutrients availability is there from the water, not from the bottom of the ocean. That is the reason why land-based ecosystems are more productive compared with the oceans ecosystems over there. I have completed the ecosystem topic, ecosystem productivity topic. If you have any question, you ask. If you don't have any question, my humble suggestion to all of you, later on you go through this recorded video of today's lecture. It will help you to strengthen this point. This point is very important from exam point of view, ecosystem productivity, and this point is very difficult also. कंफ्यूजन हो जाता है एट टाइम्स. तो मेरा सजेशन है, रिकॉर्डेड वीडियो में से रिवाइज कर लेना आप सब. कल तक मैं देखूं तो 60+ व्यूज होने चाहिए उसमें. ओके, नाउ क्वेश्चन टाइम. Okay, no question. That means topic accepted by you, that it is clear to you. I go to the next topic. Before I go to the next topic, a break for 5 minutes. Have a break. Hold on the recording, just students, let's talk about another aspect related with the ecosystem termed as ecological pyramids. It is just one arrangement in order to understand the ecosystem features. Features such as number of members from trophic levels, the producer trophic level, the first trophic level, the consumer trophic levels in that, primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, like that. Not only the numbers of these organisms, but the energy level stored in them, the biomass storage in them, and their numbers. The graphical representation of reflection of these three aspects, such as numbers, such as stored biomass, such as stored energy, in different trophic levels of the given ecosystem, this is termed as ecological pyramids. You see, the number, the biomass, and energy stored at various trophic levels of the given ecosystem, that relationship or that feature reflected in a graphical manner, it is termed as ecological pyramid. Who will repeat the definition of ecological pyramid? A graphical representation of relationship between organisms of different trophic levels with respect to their number, biomass, and energy. Who will go for it? Because I have given 2 to 3 different definitions, it seems that has confused you guys. Am I right? You make your own definition, nothing wrong. Chalo. Which parameters are compared here? What is happening to you guys? Yeah, either number or a biomass or energy stored at what in organisms arranged at what different trophic levels. Exactly. So the number and biomass stored and energy stored in various organisms at different trophic levels in an ecosystem. Its graphical representation is termed as ecological pyramids. Let's talk about 3 different types of ecological pyramids: ecological pyramids of numbers, ecological pyramids of biomass, ecological pyramids of energy. Remember their features also. First one, ecological pyramid of number, which means at given trophic level, whatever number of organisms are present, that number is to be written, and that is how the graph you prepare it is called as ecological pyramid of number. Whenever these pyramids are to be constructed, at the bottom always write down about producer trophic level, then subsequently primary consumer, next secondary consumer, and next tertiary, and next top consumer levels. In that sequence, you have to go from bottom to top. When you do so, in most ecosystems, the ecological pyramids of number, they tend to be upright. इसको upright position कहते हैं. Why? Because in most ecosystems, the number of producers is always higher, and the number of top carnivores is always lower. जैसे कोई grassland है, तो उसमें number of grasses very high, lesser the number of primary consumers. The rabbits, lesser the number of secondary consumers, the hawks and hyenas and foxes, and least the number of top carnivores such as eagle or maybe even lion, etc. You understand, Sam? Hi, Anna. Understood. Fine. Large number of phytoplankton. Smaller further the number of zooplankton. Then lesser the number of fishes which feed upon them. And then fish eating birds. So many ecosystems have this feature that they have an upright ecological pyramid of number where producer number is maximum and top carnivore number is minimum. कोई question है इससे related? No question. Generally speaking, generally the ecological pyramids of numbers are always or generally upright, rather I should say, but rarely they can be inverted. Now there's this, if it is this shape is upright, So this shape is which one? Inverted. इसका मीनिंग क्या हुआ? इसका मीनिंग ये हुआ प्रोड्यूसर द बॉटम ग्रुप ट्रॉफिक लेवल, its number is minimum and top position consumers number is maximum. Then you see inverted pyramid over there. Is this clear or not? Deviation from the standard pattern, that producer number maximum and subsequently reduction in the number of consumers and top consumers least in number, that will give the typical upright pyramid, which is the case with most ecosystems, but there are exceptions. For example, inverted pyramid of number, wherein producer such as a tree, one tree you think of, on which let's say there are 100 birds which feed upon the tree fruits, tree leaves, tree stuff over there, flowers, etc. And on them thousands of parasites. On each bird there are hundreds of ectoparasites available, so their number is in 10,000s. And on these insects themselves as a parasite, there are microparasites on them, we can call even hyperparasite, parasite on parasite. हमारे बॉडी पे कोई एक पैरासाइट है, उसके बॉडी पे कोई और पैरासाइट है, तो उसको हाइपर पैरासाइट कहते हैं, छोटे छोटे पैरासाइट्स होते हैं. Their numbers may be even in lakhs. So look at this pyramid, classic example of inverted pyramid of number, wherein tree as a producer 1, herbivores, birds hundreds, parasites on them may be in thousands, and hyperparasites on those parasites may be in lakhs. How many have understood the inverted pyramid of number? Inverted ecological pyramid of number. Exception, another exception. If there are trees as a producer, let's say one tree on which hundreds of herbivore birds which feed upon the fruits of this tree are living, but on which one carnivore bird, single bird is there on this tree, its number will be very less. Eagle and something like that which feeds upon the eggs of this herbivores. So look at the pyramid. It is neither upright nor it is inverted. It is the spindle shaped pyramid. Have you understood? Ecological pyramid of number with the spindle shape. One producer, hundreds of herbivore bird, and then large bird feeding upon them. Got it? Yes or no to likho at least. Fine. Second pyramid, the pyramid of biomass. How much biomass is stored at each trophic level, starting at the bottom, the producer, and subsequently the primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer. That is reflected in the pyramid of biomass. Normally, it shows the sharp decrease in the biomass as you move from producer to top consumer levels, trophic levels. How many understand what I am saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? Huh. So biomass gradually decreases or sharply decreases, rather not gradually. There is a sharp decline in the biomass level at each trophic level as you move from primary producers to primary consumer to secondary consumer to top consumer level. Can you justify why it happens? Do you understand why it happens? जैसे यहाँ पे 809 kilograms per meter square per year है, तो यहाँ पे 37 है, तो यहाँ पे 111 है, तो यहाँ पे 1.5 है. So there is a decline. My point is, can you justify this? Why there is a decline? Because each trophic level, whatever biomass that it has generated, some part will be used for its own utility, which will never go forward in the next trophic level, isn't it? So naturally, you can never have a otherwise arrangement. फिर भी इसमें एक exception होता है. The pyramid of biomass in an aquatic ecosystem is found to be inverted like this. Primary producers, primary consumers. Inverted pyramid हो गया ये. ऐसा कैसे होता है? Can you explain? For example, here the phytoplankton are there. Here there are zooplankton. And here there are fishes which feed upon the zooplankton. So actually, the pyramid tends to turn in from normal upright position, it tends to turn into which one? Inverted one. That is the reality. So that is an exceptional case where pyramid of a biomass in an ecosystem, aquatic ecosystem, it tends to be inverted one. Why so? ऐसा क्यों? हाँ, कुछ किसी ने लिखा था. I could not see that one. Let me check what is written. No, it has nothing to do with the light energy and all that nutrient availability stuff. One thing you have to always remember. See, your father, your mother, and yourself. No, father earns something. Part of that he gives to the mother to run the house, and from that part you get some salary, some pocket money, for example. So ideally, this must be the highest one. This may be lower to that, and this must be the lowest, isn't it? Ideally, तो यही होना चाहिए ना. आपकी amount कैसे हायर हो सकती है the other way unless you are earning yourself. तो प्रोड्यूसर के अलावा कोई अपने आप बायोमास तो सिंथेसाइज करता नहीं है फोटोसिंथेसिस करके. तो जितना प्रोड्यूसर प्रोड्यूस करेंगे उसमें से हर्बीवोर में जाएगा और उसमें से कार्निवोर में जाएगा. तो हाउ कम द कार्निवोर लेवल हैज अ हायर बायोमास देन द प्रोड्यूसर लेवल? तो टेक्निकली स्पीकिंग इट इज तो नॉट पॉसिबल. टेक्निकली स्पीकिंग, okay, technically speaking it is not possible. But imagine if you are not comparing in a one stroke that given month your father has for example earned 50,000 and you have got the 2,000 rupees as a pocket money. तो naturally वो downward रहेगा. वो तो individual compare करोगे तो at any point of time वो comparison में आप low रहोगे. अब imagine करो आपने 2-3 साल से पॉकेट मनी बचा के रखा है और वो अमाउंट अगर लेट्स से 60,000 है और उसी टाइम पे आपके फादर की अमाउंट 50,000 है. उस एक 50,000 को आपके 60,000 के साथ कंपेयर करोगे तो विच वन विल be having a higher amount available. You or your parent, father. 60,000 is greater than 50,000. But it's not right comparison. आपने 2 साल में accumulate करके 60,000 पहुंचे, तो करना क्या चाहिए था? 2 साल का आपके फादर का भी जो अर्निंग है उसको सामने रखते तो always it would have been higher than yours. You understand what point I am trying to make you understand? So this concept is wrong when they say na that there is inverted pyramid of biomass, because calculation में क्या करते हैं, given point of time में जितना biomass इधर है उसको measure करेंगे. Let's say it is 6 grams per meter square per meter square, that's it. और उसके कंपेयर में उसी पॉन्ड की जो फिशेस है उसका बायोमास अगर किया जाए तो 12 ग्राम्स पर मीटर स्क्वायर. अच्छा, आपने क्या मेजर किया? गिवन डे पे जितने फाइटोप्लैंक्टन है उसका बॉडी मास, बायोमास, और उसको गिवन डे पे जितनी फिशेस थी. अब फिशेस का लाइफ स्पैन लॉन्गर होता है, दे लिव फॉर लॉन्गर ड्यूरेशन. तो जो फिश ईयर के बिगिनिंग में थी वही चल रही है, 1-2 साल पुरानी भी हो सकती है उसकी एज के अकॉर्डिंग से. बट फाइटोप्लैंक्टन आर एवरी डे बीइंग डबल्ड. टुडे व्हाटएवर फाइटोप्लैंक्टन आर देयर, टुमारो दे मे नॉट बी सेम. वो डिवाइड होके डबल में हो जाते हैं. कुछ डेथ होती है किसी की, कुछ दे आर ईटन अप बाय द अदर्स, तो नए प्रोड्यूस होते रहते हैं. सो इट इज नॉट द क्यूमुलेटिव biomass of all plankton over the year, whereas the fishes represent cumulative biomass over the year. How many could understand this line? क्यूमुलेटिव का मीनिंग पता हो? आपका मैंने एक एग्जांपल दिया ना कि आपका जो अमाउंट था वो क्यूमुलेटिव था 2 साल का, जबकि आप आपके फादर के साथ कंपेयर कर रहे थे तो फादर का वो 2 साल का क्यूमुलेटिव अमाउंट के साथ कंपैरिजन नहीं था. इट वाज अ कंपैरिजन विद हिज गिवन मंथ सैलरी. सिमिलरली व्हेनेवर, देखो फॉरेस्ट में नहीं पॉसिबल है क्योंकि वहां पे ट्रीज होते हैं, ट्रीज का लाइफ स्पैन ज्यादा होता है. जो 1 साल पहले ट्री था वही वहां पे, तो उसने पूरे साल का बायोमास एक्यूमुलेट किया है. Same is the grassland ecosystem. I hope you guys understand what I'm explaining. Aquatic ecosystem में क्या होता है? Mainly the phytoplankton are producers over there. वो phytoplankton का everyday doubling होना, आधे eaten up by the consumers, other half is as it is. फिर again the next day they reproduce. तो वो constantly उनका, it is not the same phytoplankton which was there 1 year ago. So every day you have a new crop of phytoplankton. If the given day phytoplankton crop, its biomass is to be compared with available fishes in that area, its biomass. So fishes, they are there accumulating the biomass over a long period of time. तो आप एक दिन का अर्निंग किसी के 2 साल के अर्निंग के साथ कंपेयर नहीं कर सकते. ऐसे आप एक दिन का बायोमास जो अक्यूमुलेट होता है फाइटोप्लैंक्टन का, that you should not compare with the biomass accumulated by fishes over the 1 year. If you compare, then this pyramid of biomass will be inverted in position. How many have understood the same? मेरे वर्ड्स याद रखना, किसी को समझ में ना आए तो इतना याद रखना, if we measure it for producer, it will be on a given day whatever biomass they have, and when we will measure it for the fishes, it will be not the biomass they have accumulated on that day, it will be the biomass which they have accumulated over a period of time. तो आप बोलोगे यहाँ पे क्यों नहीं? तो आप किस में मेजर करोगे बायोमास, तो के फाइटोप्लैंक्टन में। फाइटोप्लैंक्टन का लाइफ स्पैन कितना होता है? लेस देन अ 1 day, मींस विद इन 1 day नेक्स्ट क्रॉप ऑफ फाइटोप्लैंक्टन इज अवेलेबल। तो ये वो फाइटोप्लैंक्टन नहीं है जो 1 साल से बायोमास एक्यूमुलेट कर रहे हैं। सो यू आर कंपेयरिंग टू, that is, one is orange and another one is an apple, and oranges and apples are not to be compared, ideally speaking. Well, that is what I can say about it. If you have any doubt, raise your hand. If not, then we go to the next one. Chaliye, it seems that you have no issues left with this one. Another pattern of ecological pyramid, that is called ecological pyramid of energy. Who will define the ecological pyramid of energy? I have defined two of them earlier. तीसरे को define करो. कौन करेगा? No one is interested. This is amazing. Well, the way you select the things, it's up to you. Harshil, yes, you should try. Good.
If we go from producer to tertiary consumer, the product level decreases.
Of what?
In energy.
Yes. So an ecological pyramid which indicates the amount of energy stored at various trophic levels is termed as ecological pyramid of energy. The observation that we can make is, as we move from primary producers to primary consumers to secondary consumer to top consumer level, the amount of energy goes on declining sharply. So always these pyramids tend to be upright. इसके बारे में अंडरलाइन करके लिखना है, we never get the ecological pyramids of energy in an inverted format. Always upright. जैसे यहाँ पे है ना, 10,000 joule in producer, 1,000 joule in primary consumer, 100 joule in secondary consumer, tertiary consumer with 10 joule. नेक्स्ट अगर होता तो कितना आता उसका? एक और कंज्यूमर लेवल होता, ग्रास, ग्रासहॉपर, फ्रॉग, स्नेक, हॉक. हॉक में कितना होता? 1 joule. I think you have understood the which law? Which law is reflected here? Which law is reflected here? 10% law of energy flow in an ecosystem. Only 10% energy can be passed from a given trophic level to the next trophic level. Rest will not be passing over there. And as per that rule only, this pyramid can never be inverted. How can it happen that from whatever available, if 10% propels forward, the forwarded trophic level is larger than the previous one? Is never ever possible. So always upright, because energy gets transferred from one trophic level to another, and as per that loss, the loss feature, the law of thermodynamics explaining every trophic level will lose energy. So how can there be more energy passed from one to another trophic level than what is available? So that way it is not possible. So these pyramids are always found to be upright. That is the profile of ecological pyramids. 3 different types of ecological pyramids over there. Have you understood them? Last point to wind up the matter, that is limitations. See, these ecological pyramids do not take into account same species belonging to two or more trophic levels. देखिए, in case if you are making the ecological pyramid of number, hypothetically, okay, in which you have kept a grass and then grasshopper and then frog and then snake, like that. This one will be difficult to explain from here. And then hawk. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5th. Now tell me, if this is the case, and if you want to make the pyramid, and in that case, hawk is at the 5th level. But imagine if a hawk feeds upon frog also, where will you place it? Tell me. Where will you place it? Difficult, na? If it feeds upon snake, it has to be at the 5th position. If it is to be eating the frog, it is supposed to be at which position? 4th. Isn't it a problem? Hi, Anna. Where will you keep it? It's an issue. When some animal is feeding upon members of more than one trophic level, जैसे humans है, humans को कौन से trophic level पे रखोगे? Obviously not the first trophic level, that is producer, but consumer में humans अगर वो प्लांट मटेरियल को खाता है तो उस टाइम पे वो हर्बीवोर जैसा आ जाता है उस लेवल पे, प्राइमरी कंज्यूमर में आएगा. अगर कोई एनिमल ग्रास खाता है और वो ह्यूमन उस एनिमल को खाता है, जैसे गोट या शीप या काउ एटसेट्रा, तो वो फिर बन जाता है सेकेंडरी कंज्यूमर. सो दिस अरेंजमेंट इज नॉट प्रिसाइज इन डिक्लेयरिंग where the particular organism is to be placed every time. Fixed नहीं हो सकता है. It will vary depending upon the ecosystem over there. So certain species will not find a suitable place, precise place, which trophic level they should belong to. That may not be worked out. The same thing that this assumes that there are simple food chains. ये grass and grasshopper and frog and snake and hawk, कितना simple food chain लगता है. Is it so? No, it is not so. What happens is there are food webs. They are also not accommodated in this setup. So complex food chains and food webs are not included in this understanding. Wait a minute, I'll show you. सोचो अगर इसका कोई फूड चेन आता है, ये एक फूड चेन है, उसी जगह पे एक दूसरा फूड चेन भी आ जाता है, ये वाला, उसी जगह पे कोई एक तीसरा फूड चेन भी आएगा यहाँ पे. So an organism may occupy different trophic levels because food chains are not so simple. They are intermingled and they are making actually food webs. So if you don't take into account different food chains and food webs of the given ecosystem, your formation of these trophic levels in a ecological pyramid, it may not be proper. Same organism may be found at more than one different levels of this ecological pyramids. Then the case that saprophytes are not given any place in ecological pyramids, although they play the vital role in ecosystem. Even though they play the vital role in ecosystem, rather they are not given a position. यहाँ पे producers है, फिर कंज्यूमर्स में हर्बीवोर्स एंड कार्निवोर्स है, तीसरे मेजर कंज्यूमर जिसको कहते हैं डीकंपोजर्स और सैप्रोफाइट्स. At which trophic level they are kept? Because they are to obtaining the nutrients and energy from all trophic level. तो ideally ना ecological pyramid ऐसा बनता है. इसमें आप लिख सकते हो आपका जो भी है producer, then primary consumer, then secondary consumer and tertiary consumer like that. और यहाँ पे लिख सकते हैं decomposers over there because they derive particularly अगर एनर्जी या फिर बायोमास का है तो फिर यहाँ पे ऐसे एरो ड्रॉ करने पड़ते हैं indicating that each trophic level will pass on biomass or energy into the decomposers. अच्छा नंबर का है तो सिर्फ इतना लगता है, दोनों को साथ में रखते हैं. एक ही इकोसिस्टम है, सेम इकोसिस्टम में नंबर का पिरामिड, उसमें डिकम्पोजर्स यहाँ पे, बायोमास एंड एनर्जी पिरामिड में ये एक्स्ट्रा ऐड करना पड़ता है. I hope you guys have understood it properly. Am I right in my assumption? Ecological pyramids, the graphical representation of number, biomass, and energy level comparisons at different trophic levels in an ecosystem that is termed as ecological pyramids. First type of ecological pyramids, number. Normally, what is their case? Normal case, how do they appear? You got to quickly reply, we are revising, we don't have much time. Yes, in normal case, how do they appear? Upright, correct? जैसे grass number, grasshopper number, frog number, snake number, hawk number, that will be upright pyramid. But sometimes they may be inverted or spindle shape. If it is inverted, give one example. Primary producer in that chain, in that ecological pyramid, inverted pyramid of number, PP, example, Galat, Asta, Galat, Diksha, Galat. Inverted pyramid of number in which PP is Krisha, Galat. PP, primary producer, कौन रहेगा? Heli and Khushi are correct. Trees. फिर PC, primary consumer. Primary consumer. Birds, fruit eating birds, herbivore birds. फिर secondary consumer. Ectoparasites of birds. And TC, tertiary consumer in that. Hyperparasites of those ectoparasites. Sometimes the ecological pyramid of number can turn to spindle shape. वहां पे PP क्या रहेगा? Primary producer क्या रहेगा? बोलिए वहां पे PP क्या रहेगा? Primary producer. Spindle shape ecological pyramid of number. Trees, correct. फिर पीसी क्या रहेगा वहां पे? Fruit eating birds or insect eating birds on the tree. एंड टीसी क्या रहेगा उसमें? Carnivore bird, isn't it? We're feeding upon these smaller birds. What is the nature of ecological pyramid of biomass in general? Apparently, they are upright. Is a biomass of grass, biomass of grasshopper, biomass of frogs, and like that. It will be upright. Exceptional one is there with inverted shape. Inverted shape biomass of or a pyramid of biomass. Which example? PP. Primary producer in that inverted pyramid of biomass. Phytoplankton. And what about the TC with the highest biomass? TC. Acha, PC zooplankton. Okay, fine. SC, small fishes, and TC is large fishes. Remember this one. What about the third category? Ecological pyramids of energy. Energy level in each trophic, an amount of energy stored in each trophic level of ecosystem, right from producer to herbivore to primary carnivore and so on and so forth. Because of which rule they are always supposed to be upright, never ever inverted. The 10% rule, which is based on law of thermodynamics. Which two important aspects of ecosystem are not taken into account while constructing these kind of ecological pyramids? Which ones are not taken into account? The complex food chains and food web constituted by them not taken into account. Also, individual species level, which aspect is not taken account? Some specific species there, which features are not taken into account? Their capacity to consume food from multiple trophic level rather. And which entire group is being ignored in arrangement of this ecological pyramids? Totally ignored one. Decomposers. So that was about the limitations of ecological pyramids. Madam, you can stop the recording. The lecture